For those of you who don't understand what is meant by social justice, it is not simply applying justice to society as a whole. For those who think I study politics, psychology, pop culture, and philosophy a little too much instead of focusing exclusively on scripture, I get you. But I remind you that our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. And that Satan is the god of this world, who has blinded the minds of the unbelieving, so that they might not see the light of the gospel of the glory of Christ, who is the image of God. Now, it's either my martial arts or military background, but I like to understand the tactics of my enemy so I can see when they are being used against me. Those who ignore the tactics of Satan are not only being duped by him, but joining him in his quest to destroy that which is good. So what is social justice? And how is it different than just bringing God's justice to all society, as you might read in Augustine or Aquinas' writings? Social justice is a Marxist concept, which does not look at individual people and individual circumstances and judge the person based upon the specific facts of the incident. It instead assumes that certain groups are disenfranchised and oppressed, and that it is society's job to undo those inequities by taking from the so-called oppressor and giving to the allegedly aggrieved party. If your interest is piqued, look up social justice. And while you're at it, research its companion terms, liberation theology, and critical theory, which, like social justice, being antithetical to justice, critical theory is actually the opposite of critical thinking. For the rest of you who still don't believe me what is meant by social justice, I will read Oxford's definition. Justice in terms of the distribution of wealth, opportunities, and privileges within a society. Now, I hope you picked up on the sentence they used for an example. Individuality gives way to the struggle for social justice. Wikipedia gives an excellent description, but people will mock my use of it, so I'll go to a more credible source that they can't ridicule. The United Nations Report on Social Justice defines the term. Social justice may be broadly understood as the fair and compassionate distribution of the fruits of economic growth. Social justice is not possible without strong and coherent redistributive policies conceived and implemented by public agencies. So, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, render unto Caesar what should have been God's, so Caesar can redistribute it for the sake of social justice. Still think social justice, which is essentially the religion of the Tower of Babel and the Antichrist, is in any way compatible with Scripture? Let's see what the UN concludes. Present-day believers in an absolute truth identified with virtue and justice are neither willing nor desirable companions for the defenders of social justice. In case you fainted, I will repeat. Per the United Nations, present-day believers in an absolute truth identified with virtue and justice are neither willing nor desirable companions for the defenders of social justice. Whose side have you been on the past couple weeks? And yes, I concur with Edmund Burke. If you haven't been actively promoting social justice, you've only been hiding on the sidelines, then you are on the side of this movement to destroy America and create a godless Marxist utopia.